to give us what we need. Hey!
I listen to KBLA and I love the commercials. I know what the commercials mean. I also, if I'm looking and trying to figure something out, I need something to talk to me that might hit me. And it happens on TV because, you know, every time they show a sporting event, they got the pharmaceutical companies back to back to back telling people how to fix the sickness on the same stuff that they sell them. So we get it.
Yep, we get it too, Chuck D. And that's why at KBLA Talk 1580, we don't black down.
Drop it! Our freedom of speech is freedom of death. We got to fight the powers that be. Fight the power! Fight the power! Fight the power!
Omarion, breezy. Yo, chick. What's that on that beat? If your chick come close to me, she ain't going home when she supposed to be. I'm getting money like I'm supposed to be. I'm getting money like I'm supposed to be. Oh, all my close to me, and all the mother niggas where they supposed to be. Oh, the hoe go for me. How your chicks in the pic like post for me. Oh, that's how I supposed to be. Yeah, that's how I supposed to be. Yeah, that's how I supposed to be. Everything look like it's supposed to be. Pull up to
Happy
the club
Tuesday. Welcome in. We're locked in with Joe Monroe on KBLA Talk 1580 for your entertainment news update, your front row seat to the culture. Tonight, we're getting into That Man. I know they talk about groceries and what you got to do with them in that song. However, we're going to be getting into Omarion opening up about his celibacy journey. And I think it's an important conversation, an interesting conversation, because it is not one that we generally hear men talking about taking the journey of. So we're going to talk a little bit about his reasoning, why, and, you know, get into if you think that everybody should take a little break, a little sabbatical away from, you know, knocking the boots. That's what they used to say in the 90s. And so have you. And speaking of the 90s, we're going to get into Biggie's catalog. It's reportedly up for sale. The asking price upwards of $100 million, likely. So we're going to talk a little bit about that. And in comparison, get into the conversation also, well, I should say in contrast, about Snoop and his death row deal and kind of where the money's flowing with that. And we keep hearing about these big deals, these large deals where artists are signing over the rights to their publishing, to their catalog, and just kind of look, you know, we're going to follow the money a little bit. I know it's not Thursday, but we're going to get into that a little bit. And, you know, we seem to be having, like, not even just weekly, several times a week, we have these civil updates, you know, these penal updates, because we are a litigious society and, you know, things often end up in the court system. And Anthony Edwards, you know, Minnesota Timberwolves star, he's no different. He is in a messy custody battle. We've talked a little bit about it, but his latest move within this custody battle is kind of raising some eyebrows. So we're going to get into that. And also later in the hour, joining me in studio is Jeremy Scottie Jones, the CEO of Suburban Media. I know you've seen that Instagram page. Collectively, I think with the various brands, they have over 100,000 followers on social media, Suburban LA. So it is a digital powerhouse. We're going to talk about the digital brand and putting LA's Black culture on the map. We're going to get into all of that. So obviously we have a lot to get into, but before we do that, you know, I got to hit you off with a few conversation starters, just a little bit. Oh, also, thank you guys for locking in. I know that the presidential office is having something going on at this time period, a little something, but if you're here checking me out, I appreciate that so very much. Okay, so, you know, we love Regina Hall, right? She is one of our girls, a Gen Xer, shout out to her. And recently she opened up that she might be open to being on the future season of The Bachelorette. You know, she is 54 years old, single, and she said that she might be ready to explore love on reality TV. But the casting has to be right. Now, she knows she can't really get involved in the casting, but she would like to be involved a little bit in the casting if she were to do something like that, because she says as long as it's a quality man, she's open. She would be interested to that. She had this conversation with Jennifer Hudson on her show, and the reason why it came up is because when the host, I think it's Jesse Palmer of The Bachelor, came on, they asked what celebrity would they most like to see on the show, and Regina Hall's name was who was voted. So we've seen some reality dating shows before, Flava Flav, others, New York. I mean, she's a reality TV celebrity, so that counts. We've seen Tamar Braxton, Evelyn Lozada, and Nivea, and a few others do the thing. So would we be open to seeing Regina Hall, Andy?
I would be open to see Regina Hall, but as you was, naming all these old school reality shows, what was that show that was on TV One? I believe Albie Shore is one of the contestants trying to find love. Was that New York?
There's been a couple, like in a couple different iterations of things, but we'll see.
Yeah.
Listen. We love Regina, so we want to see her happy and in a relationship. She's had a couple of celebrity connections before, but maybe she's time for something different. When we come forward, we're going to get into Omarion and his journey and reasons for that. We're going to talk Anthony Edwards, and I got a little Last Friday movie update. All of that and more on the other side. You're locked in with Jill Monroe on KBLA Talk 1580.
Your ride with Jill Monroe on KBLA Talk 1580. Who cares about the black community in Altadena? We do. On Saturday, March 8th at 10 a.m., it's the premiere of Conversation Live, Altadena Rising with James Farr. This new weekly show will explore the deep roots and resilience of Altadena's black community as we track its recovery and reimagine its future. From relief efforts to rebuilding, we're raising up voices, stories, and solutions to build back Black Altadena better and stronger than ever. It's Conversation Live, Altadena Rising with James Farr, every Saturday at 10 a.m. beginning Saturday, March 8th, with an encore presentation, Sundays at noon.
James Farr, the man who is the voice for Black Los Angeles.
At KBLA Talk 1580, we've got your black.
We all hear the radio ads about the IRS. They tell you to be afraid, to be scared, and they try to frighten you into calling. I'm not here to do that. Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000, we have a solution. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in your car, at work, or with your kids. No matter where you are, call now.
800-550-9651.
Don't lose hope. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS.
Generous programs are now available that can give you a fresh start.
Our passion is taxes and helping individuals fix their IRS problems.
We have over 1,000 5-star reviews on Google and an A+ with the Better Business Bureau.
You don't need to be afraid of the IRS any longer. End your tax nightmare today by visiting us online at TRA.com
or call 800-550-9651. That's 800-550-9651.
Tax Relief Advocates. Real solutions for real people.
KBLA Talk 1580. We've got a lot to talk about.
KBLA Talk 1580, connecting you with services and solutions. Worried about eviction? You have rights, and Stay Housed LA can help. Stay Housed LA is a partnership between LA County, the City of Los Angeles, and local service providers. From Lancaster to Long Beach, we're here to help you with tenant education workshops, legal clinics, free legal services for eligible tenants, and online resources about tenant protection laws. Don't face eviction alone. Call our hotline at 1-888-694-0040. That's 1-888-694-0040. Or visit stayhousedla.org. Stay Housed LA, keeping Los Angeles residents in their homes. Stay Housed LA, your rights, your home, our community. This is a community call to action from KBLA Talk 1580.
Now back to more entertainment news with Jill Monroe on KBLA Talk 1580.
You are locked into Jill Monroe on KBLA Talk 1580. And, we're about to hit these entertainment headlines here. So I mentioned before we went to break, right, that Mike Epps has basically confirmed that the Last Friday movie, obviously titled Last Friday, is happening. He said that Ice Cube has officially secured a deal for the next installment and that they are trying to get Chris Tucker back in the fold because they feel like it's only right. He's also going to have some of the young comedians out there join him. So DC Young Fly is going to be in the cast, a couple of other guys that are in the social media thing. So, are we ready to finally say goodbye to Day Day and Craig? I would like to see a peekaboo from Smokey. I would like to see Debbie make her way back in there. Angela Means, all of them. Not so many, but quite a few cast members have passed on. We know Tiny, Debo Lister, John Witherspoon, Yvette. Oh, God, I'm blanking on Yvette's last name. The comedian, Janet Jackson. Did Ezell pass away? No? Yes? Anthony? But so I feel like, now is the time. These men are in their 50s. They were in their 20s when this started. Andy?
The ship has sailed.
Oh, no, you're not feeling it? You don't want to see it?
Just leave it alone.
Leave it alone.
Chris Tucker, I'm sorry. Nope.
You don't want to see the book closed? You could just do without?
I could do without.
Although, all right, this is the big question. Is it Friday after next? Christmas movie, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Just want to make sure that everybody is in agreement on that.
Yep.
All right. So we're going to get into this Omarion topic. But before I do, in studio tonight, I'm very excited about this because, this is a young voice of the culture bringing it, showing up. And we were both honored last week by Kieran Price's office with the mayor, Karen Bass, in the building. So shout out to that. But, I'm joined in studio by Scottie, the CEO of Suburban Media, Suburban LA. Get into it. I know you've seen all of the conversation on social media that this page starts, the controversy. And of course, I'm going to ask you in jest, maybe in seriousness, are you really from LA? Because we see that a lot on social media. People giving you that thing. You're from LA though, right?
Of course, South Central raised, man. South Central baby, all day, every day.
And you went to Morehouse College, so HBCU, stand up, you're diverse. So talk to me a little bit, before we get into Omarion, about how you came up with the concept for this Instagram page that is blown up.
Yeah. First of all, thank you for having me. But in the beginning, I've always just been a contrarian at heart, which is probably the reason why we always causing so much commotion. But I just wanted to go the opposite of what the culture was, right? So I was able to go to middle school in the Valley, actually, which is kind of where I got my entrepreneurial spirit at that school. But when I went to high school, I came to LA, the conversation was just different, right? What
high school?
I went to Frederick Douglass.
Okay.
But luckily, or not even luckily, oddly enough, after I left, it shut down, which does not help my allegations at all. But when I came back, the conversations were so different at this, Jewish white school to teach entrepreneurship. They're talking about a whole different lifestyle. Whereas in LA, in the inner city, they're talking about trap lifestyle. So the opposite of the trap lifestyle was to live suburban. I was like, I want a house with a picket fence. I want a Mercedes that's paid for, low note. And that was the original idea, was to push us to just see the other side of what I had been seeing with these kids at this other school. And then from there, it kind of snowballed and became its own thing. But that was the original idea for it.
And so what has been the response? Because you touch on LA culture, you touch on the, some of the ironic aspects of LA culture, the things that people don't necessarily think about, or the things that are uniquely LA.
Yeah.
How did it kind of grow and blossom? And what has that done for you as far as where it's taken you? What do you consider yourself, a curator of the culture? How do you define what you do with the page?
Yeah, that's a good question. I don't know if I do a very good job of it, but I would consider myself an artist, to be honest with you. I think I'm always just trying to create and find different ways to get the people talking, and it's always different, And it's always just through different mediums of content, whether it's our blog, whether it's our different pieces of content we're doing. I'm starting to do skits now. It's honestly a way for me to express myself. the other question that you asked was like, what I guess, what has it done for me?
Yeah, as far as, what did you think you were going to do as far as a career prior to signing this? And now you have a digital media empire.
Yeah. Funny to take me back again. Like the original thing was just me being an artist, me being just a creative and always creating different things. And I heard somebody say, his name is Drama. He said, "Yo, you need a microphone, right?" And I didn't know how to do it. I didn't know what I was doing, but I ended up coming into the idea of like, let's create a media company that can help us flesh out all of the different businesses or ideas that I wanted to do. I just wanted a platform to be able to create. Like that's really what I wanted. And I guess it's happening. So yeah, it's working.
Okay. So we're going to get into this Omarion story, and we're going to get more into Scottie's background. And, I want you to start thinking about what was your I think I made it moment as far as with the page and stuff like that. So start thinking about that. So Omarion, we've been watching Omarion since B2K. And he is one of our child stars that we've seen grown up relatively unscathed by the scandal and, debauchery that is Hollywood, right? For the most part. Andy?
Not until Love and Hip Hop.
Not until, but even that was relatively tame, okay. He had what I'm saying is he had baby mama drama. I mean, obviously it was with your group mate and stuff like that. But I mean, there's so many other places where it could have gone. I'm being a little facetious and saying relatively tame because it's reality TV, but it could have been a lot worse, right? We haven't seen him like Orlando Brown any place or anything like that. Can you hear? Do you need can you hear me? Okay, 1 second, we'll get that. So Omarion is recently speaking out. They're doing the Millennium Tour once again, and he's also discussing, as you mentioned, his problems with women. He's had a few, one or two, publicly, maybe. And he talked about how he went on a spiritual journey through celibacy. And I thought that was an important conversation to have because we don't hear a lot of men mention that. We don't hear a lot of times about men taking that step back from the gratuitous sex that we can have, the availability of it all, to kind of examine themselves, pick and choose what young lady is really worth it. Because what we do hear a lot of, and we're going to talk about that a little bit with Anthony Edwards, is buyer's remorse. Just because you can get in these streets and get all the action you want doesn't mean that you should, and there are repercussions for that. And we talk a lot about women and what it does to their soul and things of that nature, but what does it do to these men? Do you know what I'm saying? Spreading it low and wide. Don't you take on some negative traits as well? Perhaps. Well, Omarion says that you do, and he talks about the spiritual journey that he went on via celibacy. So let's check it out.
I think that's a good idea, ethical non-monogamy.
Well, I will say I'm in agreement. I don't know all of the backstory of those words, but I would say for me, being open is important, and also, the women just truly outnumber the men. And this is
you're supposed to have. Is this like an all-you-can-eat buffet over here?
No, let me.
Okay, go on, explain. I'm not jumping on you.
Let me just say, it's only a few good men. It's only a few good men.
Right.
And whether or not it's a physical thing, we end up fostering the next generation as well. So why not have our queens or the women? Because I was raised by all women.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Why not have our queens aligned with that? That it takes a village. It's not going to just be one man. You could get married. That man still ain't going to be just your man. He's going to be, there for his.
Can I ask you why you decided to do that?
Well, at that particular time in my life, I was on a spiritual journey. I was studying more to just really ground myself, being a child prodigy in this business.
Okay.
Always reaching for another level of success. Mm-hmm. You forget to ground yourself. And at that particular time, it seemed like if I could control two things, which was like sex and food, then I could be a strong person. You know what I mean? And,
I love that. Yeah. Wow.
Yep. And also, you know, Lenny Kravitz. I found out after.
That's what I was
the
gonna say.
fact.
Did you have any inspirations on how to do celibacy?
Right. I didn't know I was the only, you know, man that felt called to
Right.
that. You know what I'm saying? When I saw Lenny Kravitz, and I was like, this brother.
Yeah,
come on, Lenny.
Yeah.
Come on, Lenny.
Because Lenny was celibate for 9 years.
Yeah. Woo.
Can I ask how long you were celibate?
3 years.
So there's a lot there, right? But I think it's important. I mean, some people believe that celibacy helps with clarity, right? To clear out the junk, the drama. You don't have to concern yourself with someone else's emotions and feelings within the process of a relationship. Others think it's unrealistic in today's dating world. I want to hear from both Andy and Scottie's thoughts. Scottie, I'm going to hit you off first as our guest. What are your thoughts about that?
I mean, so I do something in October called Sober October. I don't drink, smoke, no drugs, no sex is a part of that. And I do think it helps with the clarity. I think it helps with the clarity. I think it helps me physically. It makes me a lot stronger. Outside of those two benefits, I don't know. It's hard in today's society. Women like sex. We like sex. Like it's a part of. It's what we do.
Do you think that when you're on that journey through that month, do women look at you different if they're like, you know, pushing up and feeling the vibe, and you're like, we got to wait a little bit?
No, but I think that does help. That does help. If I'm curving a little bit, that does help. But it just makes you a lot sharper. It makes me a lot quicker on my toes. I'm a lot more spontaneous, and like my game is tighter, I would say. And I think that helps.
But do they react differently to you because you are effectively taking that off of the table?
I want to say no. He said 3 years. I do a month,
right?
Maybe a month or two. I think after a month, it's
just like, oh, okay.
This last go around we did it. Or not this last go. The year before that, I ended up breaking it because the woman was pushing on me so much to like, come on. So
you didn't learn your lesson. No. You didn't get your discipline in. Right. You were weak in that moment. It's okay. 100%. You bring it back up. Andy?
Couple things. First off, it's a dope thing, you know, to be able to, abstain and, work on that celibacy.
Because honestly, it's abstaining. It's not celibacy. Celibacy is when you are practicing for the goal of getting married.
Okay, English major trying to be all technical.
A little bit. I'm just, helping them out there.
Nah, but I do think, us as men, we can be very impulsive a lot of the times. We're very reactionary. So to be able to control something as strong as our hunger or our desire for sex, I think that definitely works. But at the same time, shout out to 50, because 50 is also an individual who's been practicing celibacy.
Was 50 joking or was he serious? I felt like he was with the jokes with that.
What though?
I think he really do it.
You think he's really being celibate?
I've listened to his books. He's a smart guy.
Okay.
And the thing with 50, this is one thing I wanted to know, and no disrespect to 50, no disrespect to Lenny, no disrespect to Omarion. These are, I hate to use this term. I'm going to go ahead and say high value,
High value men.
You know what I'm saying?
I hate that term.
I don't hear too many, folks, that's coming out of the mud, that's, on the grind, for lack of a better term, broke individuals talking about celibacy. These individuals, I feel like
Some women do. Like Doechii talked about taking everything away to get herself in the moment, to set herself up for her later thing. I mean, the reason why we're having the conversation in the first place is because I said it's not something that I hear very often from men, perhaps they could benefit.
And I'm with you. I do think it's probably easier for these individuals because their status is pretty high. They have women, probably knocking at their door, as opposed to, the homie from the block who don't get that type of attention.
So you're saying if you turn down a woman saying, yo, right now, this was a theme on Girlfriends when Lynn turned down the guy that was I can't remember the character's name because he was celibate, so she pretended to be celibate until she couldn't take it anymore. So you think that men will lose their rhythm with women if they get into their bag and show that they are disciplined in that manner? You don't think a woman can respect that?
I don't think that's the case. I think it's easier for Omarion, for 50, for Lenny Kravitz to go ahead and practice this celibacy because I'm pretty sure they didn't have 20 million women in their lifetime. So after a while, it tends to get a little bit
Okay.
boring. It probably doesn't excite him as much as opposed to the homie from the block who doesn't get that type of attention. You know, he's ready and willing.
Okay.
I can agree. I think I agree with that. I think I definitely agree with that.
So you guys think that it is easier for a man with means, so to speak, to get it on the floor?
Not even that it's easier. It's just I'm so jaded. You know what I mean? I've done it every day for the last 10 years. It's like what you kind of have to be getting a surplus for you to be like, I'm gonna go 3 years without it.
No, you don't.
It's no way.
No,
now
you
that I
don't.
think about
For
it,
men?
as a
You're
man,
saying as a man.
As a man, I think about it.
Okay.
Do you know how much I have to have for me to be like, I don't care about it?
But here's the thing. It is a sacrifice that you would be giving up for clarity to elevate yourself into a higher level. You're saying you can only reach that point if you were in excess mode?
It's not a sacrifice because I have so much of it. It's really just like, it's really nothing. It's almost like money. It's like, I got so much of it. What's another $1? I get where you're coming from.
Listen, what about the discipline? What about challenging yourself to stick to something that you put your mind to? Andy's like, forget it. I don't have anything to say. Listen, when we come forward, we're going to get more trending topics and more headlines. We're going to talk more suburban LA. Of course, if you want to get in on this conversation, 800-920-1580, hit us up. You know the YouTube chat is always bubbling. KBLA 1580. I'm personally at Stiletto Jill. All that good stuff. When we come forward, we're going to get into, Kim Kardashian, Aunt Edwards, and Scottie. All that on the other side.
Let's go.
Make these moments once again perfect. So won't you, I'll do it for us, babe. Good loving body, rockin', knockin' boots all night long. Hey. Making love until we're tired to the break of dawn. But come on, turn the lights down and let me get on it. Yeah. 'Cause when I do to me and you, it'll be so right.
You're in the know with Jill Monroe on KBLA Talk 1580.
I'm Amber Payton with 4 Things You Should Know with BIN News. President Trump's address to a joint session of Congress is just hours away. He posted the, quote, night will be big, end quote, and he will, quote, tell it like it is, end quote. You can listen and hear live on the Black Information Network starting at 9 p.m. A recall effort against Black Los Angeles Mayor Karen Bass is underway, reportedly led by Republicans. Bass' strategist calls it a, quote, right-wing stunt, end quote. She's faced criticism for her absence during recent wildfires. Massachusetts officials are ordering Southwick Regional Schools to make changes after a weak response to racist incidents, including an online slave auction post. The district must revise its bullying policies, but has made progress with a student-led anti-bias program. And HBCU Howard University's alternative spring break has kicked off with 1,300 students dedicating their break to service locally and across more than 12 states. Get BIN News on demand 24/7 on the iHeartRadio app.
Commerce, it's a crash on the 5, making your way northbound at Garfield. Second lane from the left is where it landed. They're trying to clear everything to the shoulder. Big delays away from Lakewood Boulevard. A stall in Hollywood, 101 southbound at Western. The lanes of the off-ramp are blocked. Overall slowing still served up out of Calabasas from just before Las Virgenes. It's tough. Now in Mid-City, an earlier crash on the 10 eastbound past Robertson, out of lanes now, but delays are still loading up out of Santa Monica, getting away from Centinela. And a stalled truck in Pasadena, 134 east connected to the 210, blocking the right lane. Delays from Colorado.
LifeSource Whole Home Water Systems filter water from every tap. In honor of their anniversary, they're giving new customers a special offer. Call 1-800-WATER-99 or visit lifesourcewater.com. Warranty and offer restrictions apply.
This is the KBLA Sports Minute with Ray Richardson.
The Lakers' defense has been a big part of the team's 6-game winning streak. During the streak, the Lakers are averaging 8.7 steals and 4.8 block shots. The Lakers are going for their 7th straight win tonight against New Orleans at Crypto.com. The Lakers will be missing 2 starters. Austin Reeves has a calf strain and Rui Hachimura has a hyperextended knee. The Clippers are at Phoenix tonight. More bad news for the Dallas Mavericks and their fan base. They lost Luka Doncic to the Lakers last month. Tuesday morning, the Mavericks found out that All-Star guard Kyrie Irving will miss the rest of the season with a torn ACL in his left knee. On top of that, Anthony Davis, the player Doncic was traded for, is still recovering from a strained abductor muscle. AD has played only 3 quarters for the Mavericks since the monumental trade on February 2nd. No debates, no speculation, just the info you need. That's your KBLA Sports Minute. I'm Ray Richardson. More news, opinions, and conversation when we come forward on KBLA Talk 1580.
Yeah, yo, come on. Pick up the drums.
At KBLA Talk 1580, we fight the power every day.
Yeah, gotta give us what we want. Gotta give us what we need. Hey.
I listen to KBLA and I love the commercials. I know what the commercials mean. I also, if I'm looking and trying to figure something out, I need something to talk to me that might hit me. And it happens on TV because, every time they show a sporting event, they got the pharmaceutical companies back to back to back telling people how to fix the sickness on the same stuff that they sell them. So we get it.
Yep, we get it too, Chuck D. And that's why at KBLA Talk 1580, we don't black down.
Drop it. Our freedom of speech is freedom of death. We got to fight the powers that be. Fight the power. Fight the power.
If you're living with dry age-related macular degeneration or dry AMD, you may be at risk for developing geographic atrophy or GA. GA can be unpredictable and progress rapidly, leading to irreversible vision loss. Now there's something you can do to
slow it down and get it going slower.
Izervay is proven to slow GA progression.
Izervay gets GA going slower.
Izervay or avacincaptad pagel is a prescription eye injection used to treat GA. Don't take it if you have an infection or active swelling in or around your eye. Izervay can cause eye infection, retinal detachment, or increased risk of wet AMD. Izervay may temporarily increase eye pressure. Your vision may be impaired after an eye injection or exam. Don't delay. Ask your doctor about Izervay today.
Izervay gets GA going slower.
Visit Izervay.com. That's IZERVAY.com.
KBLA Talk 1580. We've got a lot to talk about.
KBLA Talk 1580, connecting you with services and solutions. The Los Angeles Regional Food Bank is on a mission to fight hunger and provide nutritious food to those in need across our community. They partner with federal, state, and local programs advocating for better policies and funding for critical hunger relief programs like Cal Fresh, the Emergency Food Assistance Program, and the Child and Adult Care Food Program. The food bank works with coalitions and local representatives to make sure hunger is addressed in every district of LA County. They also run nutrition education campaigns, raise hunger awareness, and source nutritious food for distribution, all while supporting regulations that allow food pantries to operate safely. Want to help? Visit lafoodbank.org or call 323-234-3030 to volunteer or find a food bank near you. Together, we can ensure that no one goes hungry in Los Angeles County. This is a community call to action from KBLA Talk 1580.
You're listening to Jill Monroe on KBLA Talk 1580.
Only kind of first real love. My baby got them dreams she can touch and a voice from above. She's a pearl in the rough. It takes a village to raise her. We don't do it all by ourselves. I know my smile can be upstaging. On a stage I provide like a daddy and a mother, father. Give my life, put that on my life. Everything I be up in my comments and I scroll through a few opinions. You can't do it quite like I can. Do it. I'm just here to shed a light, yeah. Cause it gon' be alright, be alright. Baby mama, baby mama. I ain't with that drama, not that baby mama. Ain't depending on you, I'm a baby mama, baby mama, baby mama.
Welcome back in. You are locked in to KBLA Talk 1580 with Jill Monroe. Shout out to Brandy and that baby mama. Baby mama can mean different things. We'll get into that Aunt Edward story in a second. Talk about it, be about it, explore it. Why not? So I'm sitting here with Scottie from suburban LA, and before we get into all of that, and even Biggie, one of the things that we're going to talk about is Biggie's catalog is up for sale. We know his mother just passed away. I believe it was last week. And we talked about how she expanded his estate from, it was worth $10 million when Biggie passed, and she invested in real estate and obviously the things that she did once she got control of his publishing and so forth, and blew up his estate to over $100 million when he passed. And so now his music catalog is allegedly going up for sale for about $100 million. And there's debates constantly about us holding on to that, whether or not we should. Is it a good idea? You know, how do we make money? As someone who is a content creator, who, you know, has ownership stake in it, what do you think the future of content and Black media ownership is?
Ooh.
And where's it headed?
Yeah, I mean, I think the creator economy, media period, is going to continue to grow tremendously. You know what I mean? It's already a $1 billion industry, but just within the Black space, we're just getting a bigger piece of that pie. We're having more control of it. Speaking on that part, I think we should be looking to scale things and then sell it, right? Like, I think in the Black community, we sometimes, and I might be a little controversial on this one, but we get caught up in thinking everything is about ownership, when a lot of the times we don't need to own everything. We need to own the right things. And sometimes we need to be able to understand when it's time to let go of those things, right?
And use that money to repurpose it for something else. Prime example, Magic Johnson owned a piece of the Lakers. He sold that and his Starbucks ownership and some of those things in order to buy into the Dodgers
100%.
ownership group, which then he utilized to buy into the Commanders
100%.
ownership group. So sometimes you build things up to sell it off to then go and build something else. That is what serial entrepreneurs do. Andy?
Well, what about, things that actually have meaning and have value to the culture, right? I always bring up Swizz Beatz, Timberland, and Versus.
Right.
I just felt like that meant so much to the culture, especially during the pandemic. I felt like it revitalized a lot of careers, from artists that we haven't heard from in a long time. And look, I'm not hating on the business aspect. Salute Swizz Beatz, show folks the way. But I felt like in them, working those deals with Trillin and eventually selling Versus, I felt like it took away something, in my opinion, that was valuable to the community, even if it was just artistic expression.
So how do we grow? But the thing that we always come back to, right, is that because we've heard different things. We've heard, like, as Jim Jones and Cam are fighting in the media right now, we've heard Jim Jones throw salt at Cam because Cam said, hey, I wanted to make sure everybody got their money right to be involved with Versus. They were undercutting themselves. And once he did that, he then went and cut some other deals outside of that to make himself some more money. And Jim Jones said he was wrong. However, how do we grow and scale things at this issue? Because everybody wants to be paid for their time and their talent. And with limited resources, when we keep it only as our own ownership, right? Sometimes there's only so far that we can go. Or we get a lot of pushback from our own people because they feel that they aren't getting their just due. And we always hear our people do our people the worst sometimes. Do you know what I'm saying? So how can we grow and scale if we aren't getting the infusion of cash that these other businesses are to build and grow and scale and expand out? That's the balance that we have to go back and forth with. If we're okay with it being smaller, if we're okay that because it is smaller, some of the outstanding individuals that are within our cultural zeitgeist, they won't participate because it's smaller. If we're okay with that and we can balance that support, sure. But those are the type of things that we run up against.
For sure. And I think to talk to your point, I think culture is our asset, right? When you look at like other races and what we bring to, I think creative expression and culture is what we will never run out of. And so I don't know. I've never been afraid of, again, it's not always black and white, but we could build another one. I truly believe that we're gonna always innovate and push through the barriers to dominate culture. That's the one thing they'll never be able to take from us. And so, build it up, sell it, and we'll build another one. That's how I feel about it.
I mean, I feel that. So, like, here's the thing, right? I mentioned Snoop Dogg and his partnership for Death Row with Gamma, which is a new company. It's also where Sexy Red is and so forth. The founder of it is a gentleman named Larry Jackson. Mm-hmm. He recently revealed that they started a jewelry line with Snoop that in the first month grossed more revenue and is exceeding monthly the revenue that they get from the Death Row catalog, right? The output of the music, our classic music, a classic label, right? And so think about that. Who is at fault for, not even fault, but think about what we're generating and how it expands out. So to your point, sometimes with business, I feel like we should be concerned with ownership because a lot of times we let things slip through our hands. But I think that partnerships, collaborations, and deals are absolutely a part of the mix, and we have to lean on those at times in order to grow and expand for us to be able to keep control or buy some of these smaller companies and keep them Black owned. You know, look at what happened with Ebony and Jet and their photo archive. You know, we were concerned whose hands they would end up in. Death Row ended up in Hasbro's hand, a kid's toy making company, for a good portion of time before it returned back home to Snoop. But there's money in that. So how are we going to keep it rolling? Because if we have these assets, but we don't know how to utilize them, we can't put them out there to make more money for us, then it's almost as much as of a waste as if we sold it to somebody else. When we come forward, we're going to get into this Aunt Edward story. We're going to get more into Scottie's business and more trending topics and headlines, of course. You're locked in with Jill Monroe on KBLA Talk 1580.
Your ride with Jill Monroe on KBLA Talk 1580.
We ask seniors how to prevent Medicare scams.
My best advice, if you get a phone call, do not talk to the person. These people are well trained. Don't talk to them.
They don't know me. They're just trying to scam me.
Don't be fooled. Hang up.
Just hang up.
Never give out your Medicare number.
They're going to get your number to put in a false claim.
If I get a call from someone, I don't pick up the phone. And should I pick up the phone and they ask for information, then I hang up.
How do you detect Medicare fraud?
Just like I check my credit card statements, I check my Medicare statements monthly.
Scammers can get a hold of your number, order medical devices through your account, and you're not even going to know about it if you don't look at your statement.
Check your statement every month. If you get your statement and you see something that you know you did not have done, you report it.
Call your Senior Medicare Patrol.
To report Medicare fraud, call the Senior Medicare Patrol at 855-613-7080.
Looking for a smart way to grow your savings and support your community? City First Bank's 3-month mission-driven CD offers 4% APY, giving you a strong return while backing businesses and communities that need it most. You will earn more and make a difference. Grow your money with purpose. Open your 3-month CD today by visiting cityfirstbank.com or visiting your local branch. City First Bank, banking with purpose, investing in community. Member FDIC, rates subject to change, terms apply. Visit cityfirstbank.com for details.
KBLA Talk 1580. We've got a lot to talk about.
KBLA Talk 1580 reminds you, when we fight, we win. The Youth Justice Coalition is challenging America's addiction to incarceration and discrimination. YJC works to dismantle policies leading to mass incarceration, law enforcement violence, and the school-to-prison pipeline. Their approach, transformative justice, community intervention, free LA high school, legal defense, and system monitoring. YJC promotes safety without relying on prisons. Their goal, prevent system contact and help people exit the system through direct action, advocacy, and education. Want to get involved or need help? Call 323-235-4243. That's 323-235-4243. Join YJC in creating change. When we fight, we win. KBLA Talk 1580, your voice for justice. This is a community call to action from KBLA Talk 1580.
Hey there, Los Angeles. This is James Lucky Jr., publisher and editor of Los Angeles News Observer.
Are you hungry for news that matters to you in the African American communities of Los Angeles? Well, buckle up, because we got the scoop you've been craving. Stay in the know and never miss a beat with our free weekly publications conveniently available near you. Or hop on the digital wave and become an exclusive subscriber at OGNSC.com. Don't forget to join the party on Instagram and Twitter at OGNSCINC for behind-the-scenes access and sizzling updates. No more FOMO. Let's stay informed, connected, and empowered together.
You're listening to Jill Monroe on KBLA Talk 1580.
Welcome back in. You are locked in with Jill Monroe on KBLA Talk 1580. Excuse me. All right. Baby mama drama. We always got a little bit of it. You know, our Law and Order sound effect, because every week we have more legal drama. There you go. From somebody always out there in these streets. Let me get to some of these comments in the YouTube chat before we go in. Morris Phillips says, the challenge is to keep yourself under control. Napoleon Hill, that's about the celibacy conversation. We also talked about the Inglewood Unified School District. He said the Inglewood Unified School District got ripped off for $12 million, which was a Clippers donation. Talking about the closures of some of our schools. Morningside High School is going to be, I believe this is their last year, I think, for a full class, and they're going to be closing, and they are behind the Intuit Dome, which is the new Clippers home stadium, and likely, yeah, the former grounds of the school will be parking, because parking is a rarity over there. And so that's likely what it's going to turn to. You know, that is the house where Lisa Leslie scored 100 points in a basketball game back in the day when she was hooping before she went to SC and went to the WNBA and all of that.
Lisa Leslie hasn't said anything about it? Like,
you know what? I don't think so. I don't know. That's interesting. I never thought about, I haven't looked it up to see, but she doesn't live in LA anymore, so she might not even be aware. She lives in South Florida, I believe. So,
would the parking prices go down? More, like, you know?
Absolutely not. You know, it's $80 to $100 to roll into that Intuit Dome parking structure, and you have to pay for it in advance. You can't just roll up there with your cash. And no, you have to register with the app, download the app, and move. That's how everything is through the app for the Intuit Dome. You can't just come up there with cash like, hey, I'm in here. No, you got to be locked in before. So all your data, there's facial recognition and all of that. That's a conversation for another day, but it goes down. So Morris Phillips also says some things aren't for sale. BET never should have been sold. We say that. Listen, I get on a hill sometimes about the BET stuff. I work there, and my thing is, people are always like, why doesn't BET have news anymore? They should have kept Teen Summit, da-da-da-da-da-da. And what I always stand by is that you guys didn't watch. You did not. People love to veto. They don't like to vote, right? And you vote with your views. You vote with your participation. And so you can say, I love the concept. I love that show all day. Teen Summit was a great show. It was for the kids. It was positive. It was all these things. But when you stopped watching or encouraging your children to watch, what are we going to do? Because the network is supported by ad dollars. They already don't want to give us a lot of ad dollars for our programs, even though they're doing numbers, because they feel like, hey, the blacks, they'll watch TV, they like music, they like entertainment. We over-index in those areas, so they like to, sometimes undercut us with the bids. So in order to make sure that those things stay away, we have to support. We have to view these type of things, the positive things, the things with the type of information you say you like. We have to show our support, big time with the views. We got to do it. Just saying it when it goes away isn't going to work. It's kind of like the conversation we had about Joy Reid. Even though her, ultimately the numbers were still higher, they had declined. But if we don't watch, we can't cry after the fact. We got to be in there. All right. Ant Edwards, right? We know that he has a couple of babies. that have come out in addition to the child that he has with his girlfriend that he is in a relationship with. One of his children's mother is a woman that is 37, I believe. Aunt's 23. She has a child with a rapper prior to that she doesn't live to. And she was trying to establish jurisdiction in California. Why? Because if you aren't aware, California has more lenient child support laws than some of the other states, especially Texas, probably Georgia. So she was trying to establish that her and her child were moving here, even though Anthony has made it very clear he wasn't interested in the baby. She released text messages where he was encouraging her to, utilize another way for this situation. Aunt also has a baby with another girl, a son. She chimed in on the commentary about this and said, yeah, he's picking and choosing which kids to participate in their life. He hasn't seen my son either because, spoiler alert, these 3 children are all about within a year of the age range, all under 2 years old. And, big dollars, big child support checks. And Aunt said that this particular woman was moving to California just for a bigger check, right? So a judge ruled that California will not have jurisdiction on the case. But in the same filing, Anthony also indicated that he doesn't want custody or visitation rights for this 4-month-old daughter.
Jeez.
And so we have to ask, is he just protecting his pockets, or is this just about the money? He did make it clear when she initially told him that he was not interested in being in a family way with this particular young lady. However, he didn't protect his swimmers in advance to make sure that that didn't happen. And so I just wonder, are we okay with the idea he's going to provide the finance? He can't get around that, so he's going to do that. But what are your thoughts on saying, all right, I'm going to pay the dollars, but I'm not going to be in his life? We saw the same thing happen with Tristan Thompson and his, I don't want to call it an outside baby, but a baby he had outside of his relationship. So, Scottie.
And he need whatever Omarion got. That's what he need. He need whatever
Discipline.
Omarion got. That's what
Discipline.
he need. I think it's unfortunate that it's just another black baby without a father, especially when the father is doing as well as he's doing. I do think that part of it is sad. The other side of it is that baby's going to be extremely well off because of the finances. And so it's a give and take. Life's not perfect. I just think him as a man, he just needs some growing. He got to grow. He has to grow. And hopefully he grows up before his skill set dampers, because if he wasn't as nice as he was, this wouldn't be as acceptable.
Right. And, his child's going to have to hear about that at some point he was like,
I don't want you.
I'm cool. Yeah. I don't need to see you.
Yeah.
That's the thing.
That's insane. But, he's 23 with that big of a bag, which, doing what you want to do.
And, a girlfriend with a baby that is around the same age as well as this son. So, all I say is protect yourself. If you are the prize, right? High value men, act like it and protect yourself so that you're not in a position where someone can get in on that.
But is she not kind of like, that's not crazy that he would say, yo, I don't want it, and she still have the...
Of course it's crazy, but there's a lot of money involved, and, maybe she doesn't believe in abortion. Maybe she likes collecting high-value baby daddies like infinity
Collecting
stones.
Collecting is crazy.
Whatever the case may be, he had a choice in that at the front end, opted to say, I'm cool, I like this a lot, and now everybody's dealing with the consequences of it.
Do we know her other baby daddy?
I think is it Baby or is it?
It's Lil Baby?
I think so. It's something like that. It's a rapper. It's a person. Okay. It's a person. Okay, really quickly, I need to get your advice for young creatives looking to build their own media brand.
Ooh, great. Rule number 1, do not stop. That's rule number 1. Do not stop. Once you got that out the way, put yourself next to everybody that's already doing it. If I would have done that a lot, I'd probably be a lot more ahead. I probably
so collaborate across.
Collaborate, not even in this age, make content about the people that you're trying to get next to. I've gotten next to and in rooms just by creating content on people, negative or positive. You know what I mean? I've said some good things about people and it's put me in rooms. I've said negative things and it's put me in rooms with them and to where we hashed it out. We're in the world of content. This putting your voice out and speaking about and next to the people you want to be next to will get you there.
So listen, of course we're going to have Scottie back because I like his perspective.
Yeah,
like I said, I like Suburban LA. Tell the people where they can find you right now.
Yes, you can find me at Scottie, SCCOTTIEE. And then you can follow us at Suburban LA or The Suburban on Instagram.
Appreciate you for locking in with us. Listen,
Yes.
Morris Phillip mentioned Calvin Murphy had 10 kids and no, he wasn't a Mormon. I think people forgot that Sports Illustrated article that came out back in like 97 about Sean Kemp and all of these other guys that had these erroneous children out there. Listen, these kids are going to grow up and they're going to remember this and they're going to read this stuff in the press. I know it's hard to remember that, but it's just a byproduct. I appreciate you guys checking me out every Monday through Friday here for your entertainment news update. And of course, I'm the front row seat to the culture. You gotta tap in with me. Up next is the voice of reason, Zoe Williams. Thank y'all for rocking with me. Check back in tomorrow, 6 p.m.
I'll be in my feelings for life, so you can't move us up. We ain't a mother, we will light you up. I be up in my comments and I scroll through all your opinions. You can't do it quite like I can. Do it. I'm just here to shed a light, yeah, yeah. 'Cause it gon' be alright, be alright.